Hi.
Well, that's how we're starting it. That's as good as it's going to get. Welcome to Scary Friends. This is episode 3. I'm joined once again by my friends. Dylan.
What's up?
Want to try that again?
That wasn't awkward at all.
He's still the same old Dylan we know and love. He's somehow back here.
Well,
we don't know.
No, let's not say love. Let's just say we know.
Strong word.
You all love me inside.
We have Nate.
You know that.
Hey.
Nate's here. William.
Yeah.
And our favorite. Just
Our
kidding.
favorite.
Dan.
Hello, everyone.
He will be leading our podcast today.
Am I?
I'm just kidding. I'm John, a.k.a. Skillfully, and this is Scary Friends. And tonight, we're going to read one of my favorite creepypastas of all time. We're already doing this.
Isn't everyone your favorite one?
Dick.
Wow. Well,
Fucking calling you.
Got him.
Got him.
all right. So, yeah. I posted something on YouTube, which was sort of a trailer, and I got the picture off DeviantArt. It's a really good picture that kind of demonstrates what the story is. The story is called NoEnd House.
Let me ask you something, because you showed that to us on Facebook like a couple weeks ago before we did this. Was that actually fan art for this, or was it just something you
this
found?
is a big
Okay.
story.
Did.
Okay.
A lot of people know it. Again, I won't say if it's good or bad. I personally like it.
They do.
Some people do not.
They do.
I like it a lot, though.
You showed us that photo, and I was like, what the
Wait,
fuck
there was a
am I looking at?
photo?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if you're watching at
he
home, I'm going to
messaged
put the photo up now so that you can see it. This is what I basically showed in the trailer, and as you can see, there's a door. It says No End, so NoEnd House. And we have a half-naked man who has a big 9 etched on his
a
chest.
9, that's what I thought it was a 3, yeah.
So, right off the bat, NoEnd House. What are we all thinking, Dylan?
You sure this is not normal porn for normal people?
You know, let's not
That's
reference
Dylan's
older
favorite
episodes.
story.
Let's not reference older
We're
episodes,
just gonna bring
please.
that one up every time because it was the best.
If you like normal porn for normal people, like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, any ideas for...
I mean, the title doesn't tell us much at all, so
Yeah,
From what he just said, it's like a
NoEnd
cape.
House?
It's like
NoEnd
a gay porno.
House.
maybe it's a house without an end. I feel like
search
I'm
this
blowing
right
the
now,
doors
so
off.
like PT.
Ah, damn it! You took what I was
That
gonna
is
say.
That could be it, yeah.
No. To me, for some
What?
reason, it reminds me of the movie Last House on the Left. I don't know if
mean
you've
the
ever
right.
seen that. It's the last...
I want to jump to the last house on the left.
Thank you, John. Nobody can see us at home, but I'm giving Dylan the friggin' death stare right now. It's the Last
Ooh,
House on
I'm
the Left.
shaking.
For some reason, it reminds me of that. Even though it's probably got nothing to do with that.
Probably not.
Probably not.
All right, so this story was written by the mysterious author who only goes by the name of Brian Russell.
Wow.
That's the title.
Shout out to Brian
So
Russell.
a little history about NoEnd House. There's actually 3 stories about NoEnd House.
You said there was one.
There's 3,
Oh.
but we're only going to read the first one because, like the Jurassic Park series, I like to forget that the sequels exist. Because frankly,
you. Fuck you.
No offense to Brian,
they're not
but
as good.
to me at least they're not. I think it
I
ruins
speak on
kind of what's
behalf.
happening.
I'll read them.
Let's use Star Wars prequels.
I'll read them on my own time.
I'm gonna speak on behalf of Jurassic Park fans. Don't listen to him. Please.
What?
Okay, this is not
Okay,
a film podcast. Let's go.
All right.
Not the place
All the
for this
hate is
argument.
already on me. Okay.
Jurassic Park, one good movie.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Okay, whatever. I'm kidding.
Fucking boners.
So this is NoEnd House, the original story. You can read along
Wait,
at home.
quick question. Can we loop back? What is mysterious about Brian Russell?
Anyway, let's read our story.
His last name was Russell. That was so mysterious.
That's just the credits is to
I was
Brian Russell. That's
wondering-
literally you know how it was Cosby Daft for the first one and then Slime
so
Beast
he
for the
just
second
doesn't
one.
have, like, a
This is
pseudonym.
just Brian Russell.
Well,
Okay.
that could be his pen name.
It could be. Maybe
His
maybe
name is Russell Bryan.
Maybe he's just Brian Russell.
All right, fair enough.
Like
Maybe he
Daniel
runs
Bryan.
normal porn for normal people. We don't know.
Can we please obnoxiously reference it
No,
the entire
no.
time?
Let's try to. All right, let's focus on this story.
It's our
I'm sure you're gonna like it.
Thank you, Nate.
And that was Nate's contribution to this. Okay, we can't. All right, we're 4 minutes in and we haven't started anything yet.
Start it. Get going.
Okay, so here we go.
Kick it
I'm
off.
gonna. You know how it all works, popcorn style. Let me start by.
Wait. Which way's it going?
Fucking-
The same
I'm
way it
going
was
in
last time.
the same order, Dylan.
Counterclockwise, how all good Americans do it.
Counterclockwise rim job.
I'm gonna cut Dylan out of the podcast.
Oh my god.
You're like a blank fart.
I'm gonna edit him out. I'll just put
So we're gonna cut most of this, right?
No, we're not.
Okay.
This is unedited, uncensored. So if you're still watching this, why? All right, so here we go. We're gonna read the story. So here you go. Let me start by saying that Peter Terry was addicted to heroin. We were friends in college and continued to be after I graduated.
Shut up.
Dylan?
Sorry.
Notice that I said I. He dropped out after 2 years of barely cutting it. After I moved out of the dorms into a small apartment, I didn't see Peter as much. We would talk online every now and then. AIM and
It's
AIM. That's an old thing. AIM was the king of pre-Facebook years. It's such an old thing. There was a period where he wasn't online for about 5 weeks straight. I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried. He was a pretty notorious flake and a drug addict, so I assume he just stopped caring. Then one night, I saw him log on. Before I could initiate a conversation, he sent me a message. David, man, we need to talk.
Here we go.
Gay.
Really? It's me now, right?
Yep.
That was when he told me about NoEnd House. It got that name because no one had ever reached the final exit. The rules were pretty simple and cliche. Reach the final room of the building and you win $500. There were 9 rooms in all. The house was located outside the city, roughly 4 miles from my house. Apparently Peter had tried and failed. He was a heroin and who knows what the fuck addict, so I figured the drugs had got the best of it and he wiggled out of a paper ghost or something. He told me it would be too much for anyone, that it was unnatural. I didn't believe him. I told him I would check it out the next night and have no matter how hard he tried to convince me otherwise, $500 sounded too good to be true. I had to go. I set out the following night.
When I arrived, I immediately noticed something strange about the building. Have you ever seen or read something that shouldn't be scary, but for some reason a chill crawls up your spine? I walked toward the building and the feeling of uneasiness only intensified as I opened the front door. My heart slowed and I let out a relieved sigh, and I let a relieved sigh leave me as I entered. The room looked like a normal hotel lobby decorated for Halloween. A sign was posted in place of a worker. It read, "Room 1 this way, 8 more follow. Reach the end and you win." I chuckled and made my way to the first door.
So what's happening right
Yeah,
now?
I was about to say, like, this is already really fucking weird.
So apparently a heroin
Where are
addict.
the police?
Well, he's a Alright, so first of all, now to add to the believability of this, which is important, this guy is a heroin addict, and, you know, a who knows what the fuck kind of drug addict. And he basically went to a house that he says is, you shouldn't go to this house, you win $500, yada, 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 and the protagonist says, oh yeah, I'm totally going to win $500.
Okay.
Here's what's weird about the story. One, who's giving them the $500?
We don't know.
There's nobody there, so what the fuck?
So he's rushing to a sketchy house,
Right.
based solely on the promise of $500
That
from
is-
a heroin addict.
Yeah, that
who
is
he
drug
knows
addict,
is a
right.
cut up.
It's
Right.
Yeah, what the
Halloween,
fuck?
okay?
We don't know that. They
It's
don't tell us
decorated
what-
for Halloween.
Yeah,
which
but that
is-
doesn't
That can
mean
mean
that it's Halloween.
anything.
True. It could be the
It's just a
middle-
sequel to Monster
Easter
House,
season.
okay? End of story.
I mean, like,
No, it's not.
No,
Anyway,
John, you are gonna sound 15 as fuck with your aim shit. Nicely done.
No,
Yeah.
Clap,
the,
clap, clap.
what's weird about the story already is that, like, why his heroin addict friend hasn't spoken to him for 5 weeks, and the first thing he tells him about is this house. It's like what do you like?
It's like,
almost
dude, I gotta tell you something.
Right, it's like, don't go. Like, dude, don't go to this house.
Reverse
It's like, of
psychology.
course he's gonna go to the house, right?
Yeah,
Like,
reverse psychology.
$500? No way.
Right.
I feel like
Wait.
this is a really rushed intro.
No, well,
Yeah,
well,
it is.
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like there doesn't need to be a lot of context. You know what I mean? Like, it's about
It's just the
guy
beginning.
chasing the house.
Maybe a little more.
Whatever.
Whatever that was.
Go ahead, Nate.
Okay, Nate, you can
It
go.
was the thing.
The first area was almost laughable. The decor resembled.
You, like, missed...
I read that.
Wait,
No, he
what?
didn't.
No.
Wait.
No, he didn't. He was
Where-
right there.
I'm right.
Oh, yeah, okay. They say
So,
Halloween again. Sorry, Nate.
Start all over. The first area was almost laughable. The decor resembled the Halloween aisle of Kmart, complete with sheet ghosts and animatronic zombies that gave a static growl when you passed by. At the far end was an exit. It was the only door besides the one I entered through. I brushed through the fake spider webs and headed for the second room. Should I read the next one?
Go
You can.
for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I was greeted by fog as I opened the door to room 2. The room definitely up to the ante in terms of technology. Not only was there a fog machine, but a bat hung from the ceiling and flew in a circle. Scary. They seemed to have a Halloween soundtrack that would find in a 99-cent store on loop somewhere in the room. I didn't see a stereo, but I guess they must have used the PA system. I stepped over a few toy rats that wheeled around and walked with a puffed chest across to the next area.
So right off the bat, he's walking. So the idea is that you're supposed to get through 9 rooms and you get $500. He enters room 1. It's just, you know, a crappy sort of Halloween decoration thing. They just raise his
What's
body.
gonna end up happening is in the last door is gonna be a wall.
So
Nope.
so this is important. Room 1 is this. He enters room 2 and it's a little bit scarier. There's fog, the ante. There's like these robotic
Right.
bats and
And he's
rats
alone.
going on. He's completely alone.
Yeah, I would never go to a haunted house, especially
So-
one that's like.
On the word of his like
Druggy
druggy
man.
lunatic friend,
Right.
he is rushed to this sketch house
Right.
that people have disappeared in apparently, and the police don't care.
Well, I don't think.
We haven't established that yet.
Yeah, they
so
don't-
there's been
they don't.
okay.
It's just
It's just a heroin guy saying, "Whatever you do, do not do this challenge."
Okay,
That's
so
what it is.
They never. So
But he
was it
does it
you
anyway.
There's
who
no
said people
cops.
died?
There's no cops. All it is
Okay,
this
I
guy
heard.
tried the NoEnd House challenge of $500 and he failed it and said, "Dude, never do this."
Oh,
And
so the heroin addict's done it before.
Yeah.
that's the
what
idea.
he said.
Yes.
Okay.
He disappeared for 5 weeks, and then he comes back on and immediately messages his friend and goes, "Don't do the NoEnd House."
And he-
That's
And the friend's like, "Of course I'm not. I don't believe any of this crap. How bad could it
'Cause
be?"
he's
My
a
fr-
ballsy
and
guy.
his
He's
and his
fucking
reasoning
moron.
is this. His reasoning is simply this. This guy is a heroin addict. He
Or who
clearly
knows
he might
what
have
else,
seen a
yeah.
sheet ghost or something and thought it was a real thing.
Okay, the
and he gets-
heroin addict is telling you a place is sketch.
exactly.
You
Go, you go.
why? You go far away.
And never return.
So you may be getting the feeling of this. Room 1's kind of is not creepy. Room 2 is a little bit creepy. Now let's see what's in room 3. So let's see, where are we?
I reached for the doorknob, and my heart sank to my knees. I did not want to open that door. A feeling of dread hit me so hard I could barely even think. Logic overtook me after a few terrified moments, and I shook it off and entered the next room. Shit. Room 3 is when things began to change. On the surface, it looked like a normal room. There was a chair in the middle of the wood-paneled floor. A single lamp in the corner did a poor job of lighting the area, casting a few shadows across the floor and walls. That was the problem. Shadows, plural. With the exception of the chair, with the exception of the chairs, there were others. I had barely walked in the door, and I was already terrified. It was at that moment that I knew something wasn't right. I didn't even think as I automatically tried to open the door. I came through. It was locked from the other side.
See,
Uh-oh.
this is the issue. This cat.
Why is it freaking
It's the
cat?
Let the cat. Is the cat meowing at the door?
No, he's down the
Oh, okay.
hall. He's being dick.
Alright.
Here's the thing about this already. This guy is when I growing up, I was raised to go. If you get that feeling,
You book it.
listen to that feeling. This guy is ignoring every
So wait,
single
what
impulse.
door was locked at the end of that?
He went into door 3, he
he
saw how
went
creepy
between
it
2 and
was,
3.
and he basically said what you would do. He said, "Oh, fuck this," and he turned around and exit,
it's locked back,
and it's
yeah.
locked, so he can't get out.
But okay, so
So he tried to escape.
So the creepy thing is that he's in a room and there's shadows.
Right.
Yes, chateaus,
But
multiple things
but
moving
human
around.
shadows?
Like a chateau?
We don't know.
Or
Chateau.
is it the chair? Or that's what I'm confused about. Well, it's creepy because he says there's a single lamp lighting the room and there's a chair, but there's shadows.
Let's see.
So that makes no sense. There's multiple
That's
shadows,
creepy as
but
fuck.
it's not.
I'm
I'm
imagining-
confused if it's human or it's the
I'm
chair.
We don't know.
I'm imagining a room that's empty, but there's a lot of shadows on the wall. As in, like, he can't see anything,
Right,
but
right.
he's seeing reflections.
and they're moving
of
around
lights.
apparently. That's
Yep,
how he's able
like
to.
moving
That's
shadows in an
fucking
empty room.
Fucked
Fuck.
up.
Yeah, dude.
Moving Shadows in an Empty Room is a good album name.
Fuck that.
So-
Get out.
So this sentence
It's-
comes directly after it was locked from the other side. So that set me off. Was someone locking the doors as I progressed? There was no way. I would have heard them. Was it a mechanical lock that set automatically? Maybe. But I was too scared to really think. I turned back to the room, and the shadows were gone. The chair's shadows remained, but the others were gone. I slowly began to walk. I used to hallucinate when I was a kid, so I wrote off the shadows as a figment of my imagination. I began to feel better as I made it into the halfway point of the room. I looked down, and I took my steps, and that's when I saw it. Or didn't see it. My shadow wasn't there, and I didn't have time to scream. I ran as fast as I could to the other door and flung myself without thinking into the room beyond.
Okay.
So he was big on LSD as a child. Is that what we're looking
Basically,
for?
yeah.
Apparently he used to hallucinate as a kid.
I think he
that's
saw
a weird little
Shiva.
thing thrown in there.
That's
very
That wasn't
odd.
really necessary.
I think he
I'm
saw
gonna agree
Shiva
with
and was like, nope.
Well, no, because me and Will both shot each other a look with that line because it just seemed like it was kind of
Very,
very.
very odd.
So he throws himself from this room 3, which is creepy, and now he's going into the mysterious room
Wait.
of room 4.
Wait a minute.
Wait, he doesn't already
Could
got
it
there?
be also his friend may be a heroin addict, but could he also be a heroin addict?
That's the
I mean-
plot twist. I'm not showing.
My brain's swelling with
Except-
joy.
Except I'm pretty sure he's not because he finished college and you know.
That doesn't
I
mean
think
that
it's
doesn't mean
implied.
shit.
Shit.
Plenty of people that were on drugs that finished college.
I mean, maybe it's possible, and yeah, it could be. That's something that could be that.
You're making fun of all the
What
potheads
if
right now.
there's just a cloud of heroin?
Not potted. Well,
just being
heroin's a
pumped
much more
everywhere?
serious.
My sister completed college and she's a heroin addict.
For those of you who are heroin addicts, we do not discriminate against you in any way. Dan,
They need to
So
slow their
back
rolls.
to the story. The fourth room was possibly the most disturbing. As I closed the door, all lights seemed to be sucked out and put back into the previous room. I stood there, surrounded by darkness, not able to move. I'm not afraid of the dark, and I never have been, but I was absolutely terrified. All sight had left me. I held my hand in front of my face, and I didn't know what I was doing. I would never have been able to tell. Darkness doesn't describe it. I couldn't hear anything. It was dead silence. When you're in a soundproof room, you can still hear yourself breathing. You can hear yourself being alive. I couldn't.
Where's his phone?
What?
Where's his phone? Doesn't everybody have their phone?
I began to stumble forward after a few moments. My rapidly beating heart, the only thing I could feel. There was no door in sight. Wasn't even sure there was one this time. The silence was then broken by a low hum.
Uh-oh.
Still no phone. Why?
Dylan.
Wait, Jihad, you.
No, you bring your phone into someplace that's
All right,
dark
we're
and
gonna
let them
pretend
know.
this was in the year 1995.
Right. We don't know
Fine.
when this happened.
When
like
I don't
Whimsy
know.
Woods.
Jeez, it's outside
Bring a
of
flashlight,
time.
damn it.
Dylan.
I mean, you know, he has a
my
point.
God.
He has a
Dylan,
point,
he's
but he
going-
can't see his
The
hand.
guy clearly doesn't make good choices. He's going to
This
a house.
man
He
is
said he's
a
not
horror-
afraid too. You think he's
horror
gonna spring on?
He's just horror protagonist, like
He's a
the
heroin
trope.
addict.
Yeah. Wendigo.
Exactly.
I felt something behind me. I spun around wildly, but could barely even see my nose, I knew it was there, though. Regardless of how dark it was, I knew something was there. The hum grew louder, closer. It seemed to surround me, but I knew whatever was causing the noise was in front of me, inching closer. I took a step back. I had never really felt that kind of fear. I can't really describe true fear. I wasn't even scared I was going to die. I was scared of what the alternative was. I was afraid of what this thing had in store for me. Then the light flashed for a second and I saw it. Nothing. I saw nothing, and I know I saw nothing there. The room was again plunged into darkness, and the hum became a wild screech. I screamed in protest. I couldn't hear this goddamn sound for another minute. I ran backwards, away from the noise, and fumbled for the door handle. I turned and fell into room 5.
Room 5.
Shit.
What's
So-
your opinions about room 4?
So,
black.
I'm just thinking like.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, I heard a low hum, and then all of a sudden, lumberjack dance.
Nice
References.
See,
References.
See, that's the thing for me. Like, I don't. A lot of stuff doesn't really scare me. The thing that scares me the most is not necessarily darkness, but like something like that, absolute darkness, where I can't see my hand in front of my face.
You can't even sense yourself.
Right, that is terrifying, and the fact that something's in the room with him and it's nothing.
Can't see it.
Like
It's not.
I'm already getting like goosebumps.
going
like,
to
I'm
the
a
dark
little
side
freaked
of
out
the
right now.
force.
It's because it's not the darkness that scares you; it's helplessness.
And
when
it's
darkness
what's there.
creates that. Very
Also,
easily.
I have to mention, we're only on room 5.
Jesus Christ.
And he just entered room
We're
5.
halfway there.
Well, honestly, so far
Fucking
nothing's
intense.
happened.
He's
Yeah.
transitioned.
Oh,
They're building
well,
it up.
The suspense has been effective without
It's
releasing
really
a
good.
boogeyman.
Right, which is nice.
It's
Which
good.
is-
It's really
yeah.
good.
He's slowly descending into the dark side.
Well, here's the thing.
No,
Jesus Christ.
No, Will, you're absolutely right. Like
I am.
I'm hoping that it doesn't. It like it doesn't. It
And
doesn't
then the
fall
creature
apart.
bared his fangs.
Right.
Right.
We'll see. Whose turn is it?
Me.
All right.
Before
here
I
we
just.
go. Sorry. I'm reading ahead a little bit.
Before I describe room 5, you have
ahead.
to understand something. I am not a drug addict. I've had no history of drug abuse or any sort of psychosis short of the childhood hallucinations I
Damn you,
mentioned
John.
earlier. And those were
Why?
only when I was really tired or just waking up. I entered the NoEnd House with a clear head.
Fuck you, Dylan.
There's your freaking answer.
That's why I was like, "Fuck you, John."
I actually forgot about that line, but I kind of knew, I guess, a little bit. I don't know, it made kind of sense.
You were
to me that
foreshadowing
would be.
without letting us know.
No, I actually forgot that line was in there, but I had a feeling that maybe it was because I remember the line, but not at the same time. I just knew kind of about the character more. So, all right.
Go ahead, Nate.
Want to keep going,
Alright,
Nate?
yeah, keep going.
Skeet.
After falling in from the previous room, my view of room 5 was from from my back, looking up at the ceiling. What I saw didn't scare me, it simply surprised me. Trees had grown into the room and towered above my head. The ceilings in this room were taller than the others, which made me think I was in the center of the house. I got up off the floor, dusted myself off, and took a look around. It was definitely the biggest room of them all. I couldn't even see the room from where I was. Various brush and trees must have blocked my line of sight with the exit.
I'll let the cat in. Is he trying to get into the house?
don't know.
What's he doing?
Just open it for a second. You see a white cat?
It's trying to get into your parents' room.
Oh,
now
no.
you got wait. Pull the
Oh, the balloon's gonna pop.
No.
That's gonna be great for the audio if that balloon pops.
Yeah, true.
All right, I want to pull that out.
So while we're talking about this,
Yeah.
Pull out.
this, like you know. This,
So there's trees in room.
I
5.
know this reminds me of like Dark Souls though. Like
Oh,
you open a
my-
door and you're in a completely different like environment.
I guess
It's so
maybe,
bizarre.
Hey, maybe it was inspired by that. I don't know. I actually don't know when this story was written, so
Notice me
I'm not 100% sure.
Circa whenever.
This is really it.
Keep it going, Nate.
Stop breathing
I can't-
forward!
I can't even imagine like opening a door after being scared shitless and you're in a forest in a house. Like how does that even?
But like, isn't that like
happen?
a relief?
Vibe.
Like you go from like pitch black
I don't know, because-
scaredness and they just go
well, you
straight
can't-
into
you
like
can't-
heaven.
You can't see what's in the last room, but then again, you can't see what's in this room either.
You pulled
You
an
don't know
Narnia.
what's behind the trees, or
It's
if something's
interesting
watching
that
you.
he in room 4 he's faced with this really dark entity, and now in room 5 he's just in like a forest.
Not to like.
It pulled a
roll it-
Narnia, okay.
Yeah, not to like roll it back to how I was complaining earlier. I wish there was more in the introduction about how the house looked from the exterior,
That's
true.
the size
Yes.
of it,
Yeah, yeah.
the location,
Yeah, that
who
would be
was
helpful.
there, how he got in. Did he just walk in alone?
just
Was
walked
there, was there a secretary? Like, what is?
No, they said that.
It was
they
just
said
him.
that he just
They
walked
said
in,
it was
there's
just
a
him.
sign, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
Besides
I can
his
agree with that. Yes.
I'd like to know.
Yeah,
what the
it
house
would.
looked
It would be interesting. I totally agree with Will. It would be interesting to like have a description of the house from the outside, especially for like, the house looks small. It didn't look that big, because then it's like you have this thing where it's like impossible space.
Yeah, just one line
Right,
would add another
right.
element to this.
Right, because like if the house is small or it looks like an average house, and he walks in this giant room, and there's a fucking forest growing in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this supernatural. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like, because the creepypasta seems to have like this vibe where it's like, you don't.
No, if it's real.
There's there's stuff left out intentionally. So like you don't know if it's super. That's the thing. Like there's these type of stories. You don't know if they're supernatural
exactly.
or if it's in the person's head.
That's
Which I
what.
like, but I don't know. It would have been
So
interesting.
much-
Well, we know he wasn't
A
on
little bit
drugs.
Suspense.
Or so he says.
That's. I mean, yeah, you could always say that, and you are.
Yeah, I
so.
All right, I
Okay.
believe it is Dylan's turn. You are at the up to this point.
What?
Up to this point, I believe you're going on.
Oh, I must have just gone ahead a little bit. Okay. Up to this point, I figured the rooms were going to get scarier. But this was a paradise compared to the last room. I also assumed whatever was in room 4 stayed back there. I was incredibly wrong. Dun, dun, dun. As I made my way deeper into the... What?
Oh.
What?
No, my hand accidentally brushed you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
As I made my way deep, no, I can't do that. As I made my way deeper into the room, I began to hear that one. God damn it! I began to hear what one would hear.
Use your education, Dylan. Use your education.
Fourth grade education.
Okay. I began to hear what one would hear if they were in the forest.
It is worded weird.
Let's
Yeah.
play build the sentence with Dylan. So what we start with is I
Got your
began to hear.
Point to the verb, Dylan.
Point to the verb.
Here,
Here is the verb. Now what's I? It's you,
Me.
the noun,
Not the
right? And you're
verb.
hearing
I said
something.
here's the verb. Damn it!
Oh, Hear.
No shit.
Yeah, here. Okay, let's try this again. Build a sentence.
I began to hear what one would hear if they were in the forest.
It is worded a little weird.
It is.
I got
yes.
it. I got it.
Says-
I had to
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
Power
quick.
through it. Let's
Fucking grammar pasta over here.
Grammar Nazis.
Chirping bugs and the occasional flap of birds seemed to be my only company in this room. That was the thing that bothered me the most. I heard the bugs and other animals, but I didn't see any of them. I began to wonder how big this house was. From the outside, when I first walked up to it, it looked like a regular house. It was definitely on the bigger side, but this was almost a full forest in here. The canopy covered my view of the ceiling, but I assumed it was still there. However high it was, I couldn't see any walls either. The only way I knew I was still inside was that the floor matched the other rooms. The standard dark wood paneling.
So we need to shut the fuck up from now on.
Yeah, really.
Until we get to the end of the
Way
story.
to bury the
Because that's the
lead
second
and make me
time.
look like
I
an
know.
asshole.
I know. It's like they knew.
It's unbelievable.
It's like, I hope you're not critiquing my story.
Exactly. This is a
Don't do it.
creepypasta.
So-
This is a creepypasta.
so essentially-
we're commenting about a creepypasta and saying fuck
So
you.
let's quickly paint a
We can
picture of
control the
room.
story.
Let's quickly paint a picture of room 5. By the way, so this is room 5. It's trees, forest. You hear bugs, you hear animals, but you can't see any of the bugs or the animals. But the floor is the same wooden paneling.
I assume.
But other than that, it's a
Is
forest.
this
I assume there's-
Jumanji? Like-
It could.
Dude,
Yes,
it
maybe.
is.
I assume when they say canopy, I assume like this tent like cover on the top, where there's
No.
wire.
No, it literally- it's a tree
Hear
line.
me out.
Though, yeah.
Hear me out.
It
Like
could be.
you have like this, the kind of like a tent like thing on top covering the
No,
ceiling,
because
and then you see forests
saying
and
that
stuff.
there is technically a ceiling.
Saying
From what you
canopy
can
of
tell.
trees is a very common phrase.
Right.
See,
But
I didn't.
But I feel like there
see,
is
when
a ceiling,
reading
which
that-
makes it even weirder because like how the fuck are trees growing inside
Well,
of a house?
reading
Our
that,
bug sounds
that
and not seeing him.
reading that, I did not. I can't read that correctly, so
That's
obviously I couldn't get that
I
when you
know,
just
I
explained that
see,
to me.
I
But
feel
thank
you.
you for explaining
Yeah.
that to me.
All right.
Damn it.
Okay. So let's keep going with room 5. A very big room. I kept walking, hoping that the next tree I passed would reveal the door. After a few moments of walking, I felt a mosquito fly onto my arm.
Ew.
I shook it off and kept going. A second later, I felt about 10 more of them land on my skin at different places.
West Nile virus right there.
I felt them crawl up and down my arms and legs, and a few even made their way across my face.
That's really a lot.
Oh my god.
Dylan-
I'm getting amazed by how many mosquitoes there are.
I flailed wildly to get them all off, but they just kept crawling. I looked down and let out a muffled scream. More of a whimper, to be honest. I didn't see a single bug. Not one bug was on me, but I can feel them crawl. I heard them fly by my face and sting my skin, but I couldn't see a single one. I dropped to the ground and began to roll wildly. I was desperate. I hated bugs, especially ones that I couldn't see or touch. But these bugs could touch me, and they were everywhere. I began to crawl. I had no idea where I was going. The entrance was nowhere in sight, and I still hadn't even seen the exit. So I just crawled, my skin wriggling in the presence of those phantom bugs. After what seemed like hours, I found the door. I grabbed the nearest tree and propped myself up. I mindlessly slapped my arms and legs to no avail. I tried to run, but I couldn't. My body was exhausted from crawling and dealing with whatever was on me. I took a few shaky steps to the door, grabbing each tree on the way for support.
This dude's on shrooms. Man.
Wait,
This is just fear
This
factor
yeah.
the room.
This is the only thing we need now is
Phantom
weird,
bugs.
the phantom bugs. The only thing we need now is like weird eye gouging shit, and we have like the trifecta of like horror movie, like
Yep.
So
like the worst horror
is
movie
it?
stuff.
I don't. I probably like zoned out because Dylan's a terrible reader.
Thank you.
Is it pitch black in there or is it?
No, you can
No.
see.
everything.
You, so
In
you can
fact,
see
he
You
it.
just described.
I wasn't even.
He
Like
ruined-
once again, he said he did not pay attention to my bad hearing.
So, look,
Reading.
he described the room as a paradise compared to the darkness that was room 4. So we can actually see what's happening, but as he keeps going through, he feels like mosquitoes are biting him.
And yeah.
He's feeling phantom bites on him, and it's just, he can't get them off. And no matter what he does, he's flailing around, and he's just mindlessly running. He's trying to find the door right now. So, Dan is it was only a few feet away.
It was only a few feet away when I heard it, the low hum from before. It was coming from the next room and it was deeper. I could almost feel it inside my body, like when you stand next to an amp at a concert. The feeling of the bugs on me lessened as the hum grew louder. I placed my hand on the doorknob. The bugs were completely gone, but I couldn't bring myself to turn the knob. I knew that if I let go, the bugs would return and there was no way I would make it back to room 4. I just stood there, my head pressed against the door marked 6 and my hand shakily grasping the knob. The hum was so loud I couldn't even hear myself pretend to think. There was nothing I could do but move on. Room 6 was next, and room 6 was hell. I closed the door behind me, my eyes held shut and my ears ringing. The hum was surrounding me. As the door clicked into place, the hum was gone. I opened my eyes in surprise, and the door I had shut was gone. It was just a wall now. I looked around in shock. The room was identical to room 3, the same chair and lamp, but with the correct amount of shadows this time. The only difference was there was no exit door, and the one I came in through was gone. As I just said before, I had no previous issues in terms of mental instability, but at that moment I fell into what I now knew was insanity. I didn't scream. I didn't make a sound.
So what's our opinions about what just happened to room 5 to room 6?
Just PT
It
in the
is.
story.
It's very PT.
Well, instead of it repeating rooms, he's getting a different experience.
I like to imagine.
But it just seems like impossible space. Like
Yeah, exactly.
I like to imagine he's in a virtual reality thing and he just doesn't realize it. And everything's
he's
just
in the
changing.
Matrix.
Okay, this guy is like, he's super pushy about the whole like state of mind thing, and then talks about how casually he used to hallucinate when he was a
Yeah,
kid.
I'm not crazy.
I'm pretty
not
sure
crazy.
this
Right.
person's either insane or tripping on some bad
Right.
shrooms
That-
right now.
It's possible.
I
You're
was
right.
thinking,
I
like,
mean,
wait,
like, yeah, where
this
do you
guy's
get
on
the point where
shrooms.
like somebody
He's
actually
rolling
admits that they're
around.
not on
Right.
drugs, but they
He's
probably
made a
are.
bunch of references, by the way, that he's not a drug person.
Yeah,
just because he
but
says it
He's
doesn't mean he isn't.
He's trying
He's
to
trying
make
to
his
convince
story
us.
sound
Not only,
true.
yeah, not only, but the hallucination kills me. That little comment, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it seemed
No.
for now, but knowing the way we've been talking about the story, it's probably gonna.
He's probably just a compulsive liar.
How scary do you think room 5 is if you were in that situation?
the forest room.
Yes,
Or
the forest room with bugs crawling on you.
I mean,
biting you. You
that's
can't.
just-
I'd be freaked out.
And the worst part is more and more are crawling on you. The more
It's
time you
like-
spend
it's
there.
like-
and then the hum's coming back. So the thing's chasing you.
The mosquitoes
It's-
are like the mosquitoes. The feeling of mosquitoes is the
It's
worst.
like looking at, say, like Dan went in there and I was looking at him. He didn't see me, but I was like respecting him. It's like him just going crazy. Like he can't see anything on him, but he's
Right.
going crazy on the
Right,
floor.
right.
Like
It's terrifying.
That's what's kind of been making me think this is. I mean, this has all been psychological horror.
Right.
Every single
Sure.
room. There's been nothing physical.
Right.
I mean, you can say there's trees and stuff, but I mean, it makes no sense spatially.
There's no and there's no physical threat really. The mosquitoes kind of are, but besides that, it's all been auditory or visual.
Yeah.
And again, I will say this again. He just exited room 5. He's saying room 6 is hell, which 666. Well,
yeah.
but what is? but room 6
funny
is
joke.
coming up.
Right.
And
What's
what?
coming up?
Room 6.
I thought it was in room 6.
He just entered it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
reading into it.
But,
Yes.
but it's interesting because like room 6.
Room 6 is
like,
literally the
obviously
exact
room.
same. So maybe, to make sense of the house, maybe it's like a maze thing where everything leads back to, it's circled back to room 3.
Alternatively, he's getting more and more insane and reacting more violently as he progresses.
Okay.
It definitely sounds like PT. It's like, give me Daryl now, please.
Yeah. Regis fetus.
All right.
Yes.
I believe it's William's turn.
He's
Where-
just gotta
where are
pluck-
we?
You're right
pluck
there.
the
At first I
fetus out of the
scratched it.
sink.
It's right. Yeah, it's right there.
What if that was a
It's
fetus?
loaded up already.
I said, alright. At first, I scratched softly. The wall was tough, but I knew the door was there somewhere. I just knew it was. I scratched at where the doorknob was. I clawed at the wall frantically with both hands, my nails being filed down to skin against the wood. I fell silently to my knees. The only sound in the room, the incessant scratching against the wall. I knew it was there. The door was there. I knew it was there. I knew if I could just get past this wall. Are you alright? I jumped off the ground and spun in one motion. I leaned against the wall behind me, and I saw what it was that spoke to me. To this day, I regret ever turning around. Just keep going.
So
I
something's
read
something's
the
talking
first line
to.
of the next one, and I'm already keep going. Nate.
Oh, God.
All right. There was a little girl. She was wearing a soft white dress that went down to her ankles. She had long blonde hair to the middle of her back and white skin and blue eyes. She was the most frightening thing I had ever seen, and I know that nothing in my life will ever be as unnerving as what I saw in her. While looking at her, I saw something else. Where she stood, I saw that looked like Where she stood, I saw that looked like a man's body, only larger than a normal and covered in hair. He was naked from head to toe, but his head was not human, and his toes were hooves. It wasn't the devil, but at the moment it might as well been. The form had the head of a ram and the snout of a wolf. It was horrifying, and it was synonymous with the little girl in front of me. They were the same. Oh my God!
You want to take a minute?
Get your thoughts together.
Yeah, right. They were the same form. I can't really describe it, but I saw them at the same time. They shared the same spot in that room, but it was like looking at two separate dimensions. When I saw the girl, I saw the form, and when I saw the form, I saw the girl. I couldn't speak. I could barely even see, my mind revolting against what it was attempting to process. I had been scared before in my life, and I had never been more scared than I was trapped in the fourth room. But that was before room 6. I stood there, staring at whatever it was that spoke to me. There was no exit. I was trapped with it, and then it spoke again.
Dill.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, we can talk about room 6 for a sec. So
I'm trying to picture the ram with the
All right,
wolf
let's
face.
stop for a moment. Because when I read Little Girl, I'm sorry, my eyes rolled to the back
It
of
is
my
very
head.
tropey. I was about to say,
man.
we have the trifecta
Oh boy,
now.
the ring jumped in.
Yeah, little
So
girls
essentially,
and bars,
he's
the worst.
scratching. He thinks he's alone in the room, and he just hears a voice behind him, a soft little voice that says, "Are you all right?"
And he's
And it's
he's
like-
scratching to the fucking
That's
phone.
what got me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and he's maybe it's more hallucinating, but as he sees the girl, he also sees a man, and as he sees the man, he sees the girl. It's
Well,
like
it's not a
two
man.
things-
It's not a man because
It's
it's
a
got
form, which
a
also
form.
really.
It's a form of a man, which
a
is
form that's obviously
I mean,
inspired by what the devil.
He's like,
is.
it's not Satan, but it sounds a lot like Satan.
Might
One
as
of the
well
forms
have
of
been.
Satan.
What we've
Yeah.
read
But
so
what if-
far, it
yeah.
still leans very psychological.
Yeah.
What does that mean though? It's not Satan, but like.
It looks like what you would
He's just
describe
saying
Satan as. It
it's
has
a-
horns.
But how would he know? If
Because
it, like, I mean,
there's photos of like Satan always
Satan
has like a goat head
And like a big
or a
black
ram's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
yeah.
dick. This is the
And
end.
hooves. Yeah. That's like the best part. He just grabs and holds it up.
All right, hold on. So you're gonna take over right now. Hang on, right?
David.
Wait for
Yeah.
it. David, you should have listened.
By all means, you could just go ahead and read now because I don't think I can do it now.
Go for it.
Why? I
Go.
mean,
Just
do
it's
it!
ruined for me.
Dylan.
When it spoke, I heard the words of the little girl. Yeah, right. But the other form spoke through my mind in a voice I won't attempt to describe.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should have told me that because I would have did that. David. like over.
Let's try that again.
You know
All
what I'm
right, ready?
Oh, God.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Same time.
1, 2, 3. David, you should have listened.
There was no other sound.
Ugh.
The voice just kept repeating that sentence over and over in my mind, and I agreed. I didn't know what to do.
What a great read of that line. Good.
I was slipping into madness, yet couldn't take my eyes off what was in front of me. I dropped to the floor. I thought I had passed out, but the room wouldn't let me. I just wanted it to end. I was on my side, my eyes wide open, and the form staring down at me. Scurrying across the floor in front of me was one of the battery-powered rats from the second room. The house was toying with me, but for some reason, seeing the rat pulled my mind back from whatever depths it was headed, and I looked around the room. I was getting out of there. I was determined to get out of that house and live, and never think about this place again. God damn it, Nate! I knew this was.
Phones, assholes.
Mute the phone, please.
I thought I did.
It's been going off a few times.
I knew this room was hell, and I wasn't ready to take up a residency. At first, it was just my eyes that moved. I searched the walls of any kind of opening. The room wasn't that big, so it didn't take long to soak up the entire layout. The demon still taunted me, the voice growing louder as the form stayed rooted where it stood. I placed my hand on the floor, lifted myself up to all four, and turned to scan the wall behind me.
So he's going nuts. He's given up. And
Someone gave him bad shrooms.
I know.
I'm betting on that.
The form and the little girl are the psychological manifestations of his father and mother disappointed in him.
David, you shouldn't have done that. What are you doing with your life?
Bet you anything he's unemployed.
Probably.
That's why he's doing this for $500.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm unemployed.
I bet you he's the heroin addict.
This is like David and him are the same person. David and the drug addict.
Wait, hold on. I just love how Nate just chimes in. I'm unemployed. That's why you work for me, bitch.
You know,
You're not getting paid.
Do you know what this? I just had what this reminded me of, and I lost it after that comment. Shit.
All right.
That's gonna annoy the hell out of me.
It'll come back to you.
Can I also mention that this is just room 6?
Yeah.
How many more rooms do we have?
Nine.
Nine.
There's like 3 more
I thought
after.
he said 8.
There's
nine.
there's 9.
You probably read.
There's
that
9 rooms.
part.
I thought he said it was supposed to be 8 rooms.
There's 9 rooms.
There's always been 9
I
rooms.
think I spoiled that.
Bless it.
Maybe I spoiled it accident, or maybe
No, you
maybe
just,
it's said in the beginning.
You described the picture as the man with a 9 carved on his chest, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why we all assume 9 rooms.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you might.
That's gonna.
But then the heroin addict say 8?
No, it's 9.
No,
Dylan. God
Dylan.
damn it!
Oh,
No, we're fucking with
Nate,
you.
3.
Yes, you are, obviously.
I just. That's gonna annoy the hell out of me. I just had it like
what are you
this
talking about?
reminded
Where
me
were you?
of, and I
It's
lost
an awful feeling.
Where were you?
That is an awful feeling.
Then I saw something that could.
I think you're. Oh, John, you're.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm on. Then I saw something I couldn't believe. The form was now right at my back, whispering into my mind how I should have come. What? Oh, how I should have come. I felt its breath on the back of my neck, and I refused to turn around. A large rectangle was sketched into the wood, with a deep dent chipped away in the center of it. Right in front of my eyes, I saw a large 7 I had mindlessly etched into the wall. I knew what it was. Room 7 was just beyond that wall, where room 5 was moments ago. So to give you an idea, as he's mindlessly scratching at the wall, he etched a 7.
Yeah. Holy shit.
He etched the 7.
That's fucking crazy.
I don't know how I had done it. Maybe it was just my state of mind at the time, but I created the door. I knew I had. In my madness, I had scratched into the wall what I needed the most, an exit to the room. Room 7 was close. I knew the demon was right behind me, but for some reason, it couldn't touch me. I closed my eyes and placed both hands on the large 7 in front of me, and I pushed. I pushed as hard as I could. The demon was now screaming in my ear. It told me I was never leaving. It told me that this was the end, and I wasn't going to die. I was going to live through it. I was going to live there in room 6 with it. I wasn't. I pushed and screamed at the top of my lungs. I knew I was going to push through the wall eventually.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the biggest thing right now. Like,
Wow.
how, if there's no way out and you can't go back, how have people
Gone out.
gotten out? And
Well,
haven't
now-
completed it.
Now
like,
You broke a wall.
now you may have realized this, but now you might want to question that heroin addict, because what did he do?
I questioned
Right.
him from the start.
I was wondering.
Wait, did he,
I was about to,
was
that's,
it- did he call him, or was it like he
It was
there's
a-
name message.
It was a name message.
that's what reminds me. Like,
or as I
doesn't exist.
or as I put it, AIM.
that
as
was-
I put it.
That's
TEAMROK.
And okay, what's also interesting to me, like, is it the same experience for everybody, or is it different?
Yeah.
Which is the most interesting. Maybe that's why they made 2 sequels. Who
That's-
the hell knows? But yeah,
that's what's interesting.
This is gonna
What-
end
what
They're
up-
did
on the right track.
What did the heroin addict didn't say how like he
It's
didn't
like-
say anything
He
about
just
the
said,
floors, he
"Don't
didn't
go."
Say, he didn't
Whatever
say
you
like
do.
he got at where he got out at.
No,
He
no.
just
The heroin addict's just gonna end up being Jigsaw.
he was a MacGuffin.
Whoa.
Whoa. Plot twist.
I clenched.
No, but this is interesting. It's like your own personal hell, basically.
Also,
Um,
what I like about this story and why it's one of my favorites. Despite I don't know if this is my favorite like Rin story, but it's one of my favorites because of the idea of it and the creativity that it's the idea that you're running away from something creepy and the only solution to solving this problem is to do something that's even worse. You're
Right,
facing
right.
a different alternative,
Right, it just keeps
and you're just
escalating.
going down the rabbit hole on each
Right.
as you keep going.
I think it's basically what the hell is the word? I can't think of the word right now, but like similarity to life to get rid past your past demons. Like you gotta push forward, do something you don't really want to do, and to get ahead.
It's beautiful, Dylan.
No, that's fair.
I'm trying to think of the word that I'm trying to
That's fair.
fucking
Perseverance.
no.
I mean, it makes sense.
No.
I was actually gonna say this is kind of like this one.
You're
guy's-
escaping your own personal demons. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
I was gonna say David's personal hell is like every horror trope ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like David just
But
fears
and
the
bugs
most
and
common
demon
horror.
girls and
Yeah,
eye
demon
shit.
girls, invisible bugs.
There's a fetus in the sink.
fetus Regis.
Fetus. Okay, here we go. I clenched my eyes shut and screamed, and the demon was gone. Anticlimactic. I was left in silence. I turned around slowly and was greeted by the room as it was when I entered, just a chair and a lamp. I couldn't believe it, but I didn't have time to, well, I turned back to the 7 and jumped back slightly. What I saw was a door. It wasn't the one I had scratched in, but a regular door with a large 7 on it. My whole body was shaking. It took me a while to turn the knob. I just stood there for a while, staring at the door. I couldn't stay in room 6. I couldn't. But if there was only room 6, I couldn't imagine what 7 had in store. I must have stood there for an hour just staring at the 7. Finally, with a deep breath, I twisted the knob and opened the door of the room 7. I stumbled through the door mentally exhausted and physically weak. The door behind me closed and I realized where I was. I was outside. Not outside like room 5, but actually outside. My eyes stung. I wanted to cry. I fell to my knees and tried, but I couldn't. I was finally out of that hell. I didn't care about the prize that I was promised. I turned and saw that the door I just went through was the entrance. I walked to my car and drove home, thinking of how nice a shower sounded.
And that's the end of the story. Thank you for
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the.
No, that's not.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Ah.
There's more.
Yeah, we still have like half. I'm looking like I'm.
Nobody wins
instead,
500
instead
bucks.
of passing the laptop around this time, we're all reading it on our phones, and I'm like halfway down. Like, there's still a lot more to go.
No, but he's outside. Clearly, nothing bad happens like this.
No, this is like those classic like everything's gonna be okay, and then like
Yeah,
he
he
gets
got
to his
out.
house and he opens the door to his house and the demon's like sitting on the couch like so.
No, that's gonna be roommate.
All right, so
Okay.
let's keep going.
As I-
So he got out of the house. He's driving home.
As I pulled up to my house, I felt uneasy. The joy of leaving NoEnd House had faded, and dread was slowly building in my stomach. I shook it off as residual from the house and made my way to the front door. I entered and immediately went up to my room. There on my bed was my cat, Baskerville. That name bothers me. He was the first living thing I had seen all night, and I reached to pet him. He hissed and swiped at my hand. I recoiled in shock, as he had never acted like that. I thought, whatever, he's an old cat. I jumped in the shower and got ready for what I was expecting to be a sleepless night. After my shower, I went to the kitchen to make something to eat. I descended the stairs and turned into the family room. What I saw would be forever burned into my mind, however. The demon sitting on the couch with his leg askew said, "Hey, what's up?"
Thanks for ruining the story, Dan.
My parents were lying on the ground, naked and covered in blood.
Okay, I really
I-
thought like
yeah, like, I was like,
kinda
what?
thought you were fucking with me.
I was like, where'd you skip?
They were mutilated to near unidentifiable states.
Holy shit.
Their limbs were removed and placed next to their bodies, and their heads were placed on their chests facing me. The most
Oh,
unsettling
man.
part was their expressions.
Oh, God.
They were smiling, as though they were
Oh.
happy to see me.
Oh no.
Oh,
I vomited and sobbed there in the family room. I don't know what had happened. They didn't even live with me at the time. I was a mess. Then I saw it. A door that was never there before. A door with a large H.
I knew
all
it!
on it with blood.
He's
This is
stolen-
like 1408. You ever see that movie?
No, I haven't.
There's a moment in that movie where he thinks he's out of it, and like the room is like normal, and then like he goes to open the door, and like it's just like 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it.
Holy
Like,
shit.
does he? When will he know if he's actually
Got two
officially
more rooms.
out?
I mean,
Yeah.
do you know?
Well, I mean,
I
it
know the
says-
Muffin Man.
I mean, he
It
thought it
says-
was out. He thought he was out.
It says
what I'm
no. It says NoEnd House.
Maybe he's
So
stuck forever.
even if you leave, there's no end.
But
Right.
what's with the 9? You know.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what
Like-
I'm saying.
Like, do you think like if he does actually make it, like it's ever actually over? Like he's just haunted by this horrible shit for the rest.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause even if he escapes, he's gonna be haunted by these fucking memories for the rest of his life. So I think that's
also,
what they
now
mean
that
by
he's
no
now
end.
that Room 7 has established one thing, he
Right.
thinks he left NoEnd House.
and he's still
He's
in
still
end.
in NoEnd House.
He left the
So
house
even
and went
after-
home. Right.
So even after he gets out for real, he's never gonna really know.
Right.
So,
No.
So like door
And-
7 was he thought was out.
Right.
Yes.
He thought he was out when he thought he
But,
was
like,
out.
come
Not
on,
out,
like,
but he's out.
They told you
not
it was
really
9
out.
rooms, and you open door 7, you're outside, and you're like,
Yeah, come
oh,
on.
that was easy.
Oh, that's not. No, that wasn't his reaction. His reaction was, "Oh my
Yeah,
god!
that too.
Oh shit! I'm out!"
I mean,
I'm
this is-
alive, and so
So
are you.
This is either like further like he's super insane, and now this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like he stumbled out of the house and he goes home and he's like, oh shit.
Well, yeah.
Mom,
Wait. That
That's-
actually reminds me. Like, if
you know?
if he, I mean, this might obviously maybe he's not out because we said there's 9, but maybe the last one he might actually be out, but it might be just his hallucinations.
He's
And
not-
he can never tell.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
He can't
Or-
trust his own reality.
Yeah, I was thinking this house now. If we take him at face value, it's like a parallel universe
Yeah.
where everything's terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Well,
in the
dude, that
or
image.
in the house, the demon and the little girl are like just a person, a sane
They're just
person.
watching
telling
TV.
No, they're telling him. Like, they're just telling him while he's hallucinating. What the fuck are you doing in my house? And he's just like, ah!
So I was still in the.
That image is fucking brutal. Like, he comes downstairs, his parents are just
Bloodborne.
mutilated.
to see
Yeah, and their heads are
They're
smiling. at him.
smiling and they're
Like,
like.
I'm imagining that in my brain. And it's
Their
like
eyes are
fucking
probably
terrifying.
open.
This has Nightmare on Elm Street like written right over.
Yeah, actually, yeah, he's right. Like,
Parents are
very
dead,
much so.
bitch.
Bitch.
Yeah, very much so.
Bitch.
Speaking of bitches, Nate, go.
Oh, I'm gonna kill
Dude,
myself.
good segue.
I
The
was
bitch,
still
the
in the
bitch who
house.
calls the bitch a bitch is the bitch.
Cool.
Okay?
Okay,
Alright,
bitch.
Dylan.
You're a bitch.
Bitch. Go.
The bitch read.
Stop.
I was still in the house. I was standing in my family room, but I was in room 7. The faces of my parents smiled wider as I realized this. Oh god.
Fuck me.
Dude,
So-
Den's face
I'm
just
not
he
sleeping
starts
tonight.
shaking. He just started shaking.
I got the Jimmy legs.
They weren't my parents. They couldn't be. But they looked exactly like them. The door marked 8 was across the room. Behind the mutilated bodies in front of me. I knew I had to move on. But at the moment I gave up, the smiling faces tore into my mind. They grounded me where I stood. I vomited again and nearly collapsed. Then the hum returned. Oh shit. It was louder than ever and it filled the house and shook the walls. The hum compelled me to walk.
It's almost like the hum's like pressuring him to like it's
still there.
It establishes
Do
it establishes itself in like the scariest room at the time. So like it's like a psychological thing, kind of like Pavlov, where you hear something and you're forced to do like you just mindlessly forced to do something. He's like, well, the only way to get rid of the hum is I have to go into the next room. Like it's forcing me to do it. So
It's like training a dog to like
Right, it's
when you ring
Pavlov.
you ring a bell when it wants and you give it food so that it train it to
Pavlov.
think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's literally, yep.
It's like time to go, idiot.
As if you're being timed. It's
Clearly, Dylan's skipping ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, the fucking thing is so fucking long.
Yeah, it is. We're
All
almost
right,
there.
we are at where I began
Begin
to walk slowly. All
I
right, Dylan.
began to walk slowly, making my way close to the door. And the bodies, I could barely stand, let alone walk. And the closer I got to my parents, the closer I came to suicide squad. The walls were now shaking so hard, it seemed as though they were going to crumble.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Dan just gave me the most, or gave Dylan the most
pain.
disappointed look.
He dropped his phone. He
Just
just
completely took him out of the mood. The atmosphere's there.
So I'm going home. This has fun
All right,
finishing
see you,
this.
man.
This is my NoEnd House. I'm sitting in a room with Dylan.
I'm glad to be here.
Across the stories.
It's gonna be huge.
All right.
But still the faces smiled at me. As I inched closer, their eyes followed me. I was not... fucking...
This is like Dead Space 2.
I was now between the two bodies, a few feet away from the door. The dismembered hands clawed their way across the the hand.
Stop
Up towards me.
Fuck this.
Enough of
versus
this
Evil
horror-
Dead.
Yeah.
Where was I? The dismembered hands clawed their way across the carpet towards me, all while the faces continued to stare. New terror washed over me, and I walked faster. I didn't want to hear them speak. I didn't want the voices to match those of my parents. They began to open their mouths and their hands were inches from my feet. In a dash of desperation, I lunged towards the door, threw it open, and slammed it behind me. Room 8.
This is great.
I
What
was-
I love about this, it finally happened.
Christ.
I did this because I thought you guys would shit yourselves reading stories. I think this is the first time it's finally starting to happen.
It's finally
You know,
affecting
it's
me.
finally
fucking
happening.
with me.
You know
It
what's
didn't happen
actually...
with Noah. It didn't happen with normal porn. It didn't happen with
No,
Lindsay
normal
Wood.
porn was fucking creepy.
Yeah, that one too.
No,
here's
it
the
was
thing.
stupid.
It's very similar. Normal porn for normal people is very similar to this because it's a build-up. We already knew that from the start it was gonna go light from normal porn and like just build
But
up.
see, the good thing this is doing, it's longer than normal porn for normal
lot
people.
longer.
A lot
Yes.
longer, and it's building
Also,
up.
clearly
it's
Dylan
build-
can put himself in this story. You know, imagining his parents being fucking dismembered, crawling at him, but not watching creepy porn.
Dylan, we're disappointed.
You would be terrified.
in
You'd be terrified if you saw your parents.
Oh,
dismember you.
Absolutely, but
You're
I don't
terrified
understand why
by
if I watched
monkey.
a woman get eaten by
Hey,
a fucking monkey on my computer.
First of all, indoor voices.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. It's fine. And second, yes, anyone. This is a terrifying story, and this is why I like it so much. So
This is
yes.
really
Now, can I
fucked.
continue this
I really
next
enjoy
paragraph? I was about to.
It
read.
is the perfect
No,
story
you can't.
of fucked. Do you want to
Yeah,
read?
yeah.
Wait, do you want to?
Yes, yes. I want
As
to
long
read
as
this
it's a short
last paragraph. This last
Dylan's
sentence.
a really
Really
bad reader.
Go suck a dick. Dan's dick.
The I was
Oh,
done. You
okay.
want to read that paragraph?
Yeah, I want to read that.
Okay, go for it. Go.
I was done. After what I had just experienced, I knew there wasn't anything else this fucking house could throw at me, and I couldn't live through. There was nothing short of the fires of hell that I wasn't ready for. Unfortunately, I underestimated the abilities of NoEnd House. Unfortunately, things got more disturbing, more terrifying, and more unspeakable in room 8!
Good job, Dylan. You really, man.
Really hit
Good
that
job.
one home.
You made a line that you made a paragraph that I actually don't like in the story work well. I hate stories that front load the horror. I
Right,
fucking
right.
hate it.
He's
And this
like,
story does it a
couldn't
lot.
get any worse, right? Unfortunately,
It's like
I was wrong.
It's
Like,
just
of
this
course you
stupid,
are.
this imbecile is just like, oh, it couldn't get any worse. I was prepared for the fires of hell, but it got worse. Just keep reading, please. Keep reading. We're already invested, dude. Stop.
Give me the Skillfully Oscar Award for the best narration of your fucking life.
No,
No, it was overhyped.
there is.
There's a point to that.
Okay, I'm glad you did that because I'm gonna read
The next one.
Knock yourself out.
I still have trouble believing what I saw in room 8. Again, the room was a carbon copy of rooms 3 through 6.
3 and
Well,
6.
3 and 6.
That would have been fucked.
But sitting in the usual empty chair was a man. After seconds of disbelief, my mind finally accepted the fact that the man sitting in the chair was me. Not someone that looked like me. It was David Williams. I walked closer. I had to get a better look, even though I was sure of it. He looked up at me, and I noticed tears in his eyes. All right. Please don't do it. Please don't hurt me. What? I asked. Who are you? I'm not going to hurt you. Yes, you are. He was sobbing now. You're going to hurt me, and I don't want you to. He sat in the chair with his legs up and began rocking back and forth. It was actually pretty pathetic looking, especially since he was, me. Identical in every way. Listen, look, who are you? I was now only a few feet from this doppelganger. It was the weirdest experience yet. Standing there talking to myself. I wasn't scared, but I would be soon. Why are you... You're going to hurt me.
Shit.
And you're going to hurt me. If you want to leave, you have to hurt me. What are you saying? Just calm down, all right? Let's just figure this, and then I saw it. The David sitting down was wearing the same clothes as me, except for a small red patch on his shirt embroiled with the number 9.
Oh, plot twist.
Now we're solved.
Fuck me.
You're gonna hurt me.
Lime
You're gonna hurt me. Please don't. I know you're gonna hurt me.
If you die in the dream, you die in real life.
Which was the real David?
Do you want me to just finish? No, there's a couple paragraphs.
No, we're not close to the end yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
God
This
damn
is
it.
only room.
Where
Alright,
was I?
Dylan, calm down.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay.
My eyes didn't leave that small number on his chest. I knew exactly what it was. The first few doors were plain and simple, but after a while they got a little more ambiguous. 7 was scratched in the wall, but by my own hands. 8 was marked in blood above the bodies of my parents, but 9. This number was on a person. A living person. Worse still, it was on a person that looked exactly like me. David? I had to ask. Yes, you're going to hurt me. You're going to hurt me. He continued to sob and rock. He answered to David. He was me, right down to the voice. But that 9. I paced around for a few minutes while he sobbed in his chair. The room had no door, and similarly to room 6, the door I came through was gone. For some reason, I assumed that scratching would get me nowhere this time. I studied the walls and floor around the chair, sticking my head underneath and seeing if there was anything below. Unfortunately, there was. Below the chair was a knife. Attached was a tag that read, "To David, from management."
There are people! There are people!
Holy fuck.
Here at Corporation Incorporated.
Fuck. Here at your fucked NoEnd House. Holy shit.
So yes, this is
Jesus Christ.
Either way, he's fucked.
This-
By a girl or something
You know,
else.
you said this in the first episode. It wasn't funny then either.
What?
I'm kidding. All right, so essentially, remember that picture with the 9?
Yeah.
I know it wasn't exactly the story, but it's the same concept. He has a knife. There's a 9 on that man's chest,
Right.
and you could piece together what he might have to
Yeah.
do to open
Open heart surgery.
open 9.
Open
What is
heart
that,
surgery.
What's the podcast where Welcome to Night Vale?
What?
That whole like.
What's the name of it?
Welcome to Night Vale.
Welcome to Night Vale.
Shout out.
I mean, they're super successful, so it's not really shout out.
Okay.
but
Yeah, it is.
I was just saying that the whole like from management was very welcome to Night Vale. That whole like idea of veiled authority who makes ridiculous rules.
Mm-hmm.
Management won't.
He's gonna
like
have to
that
give some
kind of
open heart
thing.
surgery there.
1984.
Okay. Do you want to keep going? Or?
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Okay. The feeling in my stomach.
I got him queued up.
He's got it. The feeling in my stomach as I read that tag was something sinister. I wanted to throw up. How is this guy still throwing up?
What not to cut you off, but you know what I loved about this? He's in this room and he's like, this is weird that I have a doppelganger. But let me like Sherlock Holmes this shit. I'm just gonna look around. Like this is not. I mean, I guess considering like
Considering
all
what
of the
he's
shit that
been through, I think
but, like,
nothing's
he walked-
surprising him
but,
anymore.
like he walked around, he's like, all right, I have to figure out. Like he seems very calm.
But
considering
here's the
what's
thing.
going on.
This is my favorite thing about this story is the fact that the reader, the first time I read this, I was expecting like something to not go right. I'm like, there's no way he can make room 8 scarier than room 7. Oh,
Yeah.
he did.
No.
There's no way he can make room 6 scarier than
No.
room 5. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
just getting scarier. It's just incrementing in
It's
rooms.
paced
to
No,
rooms
the way
to
I'm
room.
seeing this going down, he's gonna end up cutting the older David
when all he had to do was probably throw him at the
Well,
wall
let's see
and
what
the door
happens.
would push us up here.
All right, continue. All right, start over the paragraph you were
Yeah.
on.
The feeling in my stomach as I read that tag was something sinister. I wanted to throw up, and the last thing I wanted to do was remove that knife from under the chair. The other David was still sobbing uncontrollably. My mind was spinning into an attic of unanswerable questions. Who put this here, and how did they get my name? Not to mention the fact that as I knelt on the cold wood floor, I also sat in that chair, sobbing in protest of being hurt by myself. It was all too much to process. The house and the management have been playing with me this whole time. My thoughts for some reason turned to Peter and whether or not he got this far. If he did, if he met a Peter Terry sobbing in this very chair, rocking back and forth. I shook those thoughts out of my head. They didn't matter. I took the knife from under the chair, and immediately the other David went quiet. David, he said in my voice, what do you think you're going to do? I lifted myself from the ground and clenched the knife hard. I'm going to get out of here. David was still sitting in the chair, though he was very calm now. He looked up at me with a slight grin. I couldn't tell if he was going to laugh or strangle me. Slowly he got up from the chair and stood facing me. It was uncanny. His height and even the way he stood matched mine. I felt the rubber hilt of the knife in my hand and gripped it tighter. I don't know what I was planning on doing with it, but I had a feeling I was going to need it.
What the fuck?
This fucking person, alright? He's like, how'd they get my name? Motherfucker, they have a doppelganger on the floor, and you're like,
And you're worried about his name.
Yeah, really. I was
What
just...
the
They're
fuck?
wondering who put the knife there.
But
Come
again,
on.
like he's like, I wonder.
Oh,
if
for
I
management,
wonder
that's
if
easy.
Peter got that far. He didn't escape. Like so what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
They
like-
sent the message on his behalf saying,
like,
"Welcome
yeah,
to
but, like,
NoEnd House.
it's
Come
just
and help you."
This is so fucked. Like,
Be strong, Nate.
Oh
Next
my
part you're
God.
reading is gonna be very hard.
Are you? Shut up.
Yeah, shut up, Dylan.
this
Wow.
kind of feels like the other, like the doppelganger is like, it's weird. Like it's this duality. Like the doppelganger is like what's left of his sanity or like his innocence, and like he is now like the fucking crazed lunatic.
Destroying it.
And he's like, you have to kill. You know.
Get rid of it.
You are
yeah.
now Darth
The
Vader.
protagonist we've been following has actually been just a manifestation of his drug abuse this entire time. And we've reached the penultimate moment where he's about to destroy himself.
Exactly. Now, in quotes, his voice was slightly deeper than my own. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to keep you there. Keep you here. I didn't respond. I just lunged back and tackled him to the ground. I had mounted him, and looked down. Knife
Poison raised.
poison ready. He looked up at me, terrified. It was like I was looking in the mirror. Then the hum returned, low and distant. Though I still felt it deep in my body, David looked up at me as I looked down at myself. The hum was getting louder, and I felt something inside me snap. With one motion, I slammed the knife into the patch on his chest and ripped down. Blackness fell on the room, and I was falling. Oh my
Holy
lord.
shit.
Dark. Okay, Dylan, why don't you take over at the darkness around? So he stabs the guy, and now he's falling.
He stabs himself.
Yeah, literally.
The darkness around me was like nothing I had ever. Oh God, damn it!
Read it like you would read
Read
it,
like a
and stop
person.
making
The darkness-
goddamn voices.
The darkness around me was like nothing I'd experienced up to that point. Fuck off.
That's canon. You have to go with it now.
Room 4 was dark, but it didn't come close to what was completely engulfing me. I wasn't even sure if I was falling after a while. God damn it, Will!
What? Just
Stop.
go.
I felt weightless, covered in
We're so
dark.
close.
Then a deep sadness came over me. I felt lost, depressed, suicidal. The sight of my parents entered my mind. I knew it wasn't real, but I had seen it and
Can we skip down?
Okay,
Yes,
Dylan,
please do it. Just do it.
Dylan, read
Skip.
slowly.
I have a speech
No, no, no.
impediment. Let
All
me
right.
collect my
You do
thoughts.
not. You're just reading too fast.
Are you fucking kidding
You're
me?
reading
Don't
way
tell me
too
what I don't have.
fast. Just read slowly.
I knew it wasn't real, but I had seen it in fucking.
And the
I had seen it,
mind.
and the mind has trouble differentiating. God damn it!
Alright, John.
Skip.
Wow.
Finish the paragraph, John.
Okay.
Popcorn.
I knew it wasn't real, but I had seen it, and the mind has trouble differentiating between what is real and what isn't. The sadness only deepened. I was in room 9 for what seemed like days, the final room, and that's exactly what it was. The end. NoEnd House had an end, and I had reached it. At that moment, I gave up. I knew I would be in that in-between state forever, accompanied by nothing but darkness. Not even the hum was there to keep me sane. I lost all senses. I couldn't feel myself. I couldn't hear anything. Sight was completely useless here. I searched for the taste in my mouth and found nothing. I felt disembodied and completely lost. I knew where I was. This was hell. Room 9 was hell. Then it happened. A light. One of those stereotypical lights at the end of the tunnel. I felt ground come up from below me, and I was standing. After a moment or two of gathering my thoughts and senses, I slowly walked towards that light.
What the fuck? Okay, I might
Just read the paragraph. I'm going to read the end because I want. This is an important moment because I
Right.
want you all to react to this.
I'm probably gonna
Read
carry
the
this.
read the chunk. I'm going to start with the italic part. It's the ending of it. So just
Right. Do you want me to just carry this out?
no.
He wants to read the italic part.
As I approached the light, it took form. It was a vertical slit down the side of an unmarked door. I slowly walked through the door and found myself back where I started, the lobby of NoEnd House.
Oh.
It was exactly how I'd left it, still empty, still decorated with childish Halloween decorations. After everything that had happened that night, I was still wary of where I was. After a few moments of normalcy, I looked around the place trying to find anything different. On the desk was a plain white envelope with my name handwritten on it. Immensely curious, fuck you, yet still cautious, I mustered up the courage to open the envelope. Inside was a letter again handwritten.
David Williams, congratulations. You made it to the end of NoEnd House. Please accept this prize and a token of great achievement. Yours forever, Management. With the letter, there were 5 $100 bills. I couldn't stop laughing. I laughed for what seemed like hours. I laughed as I walked out of my car, and laughed as I drove home. I laughed as I pulled up to my driveway. I laughed as I opened the front door to my house, and I laughed as I saw the small 10 etched in the wood.
Oh my god.
And that's how it ends.
Fuck.
No, it doesn't end because it's NoEnd House.
Oh!
Oh!
And that is the tale. One of my favorite creepypastas, NoEnd House.
Fuck me.
Enough.
And I will gladly endorse it as such. It is one of my favorites.
Okay, wait a second. If it's an NoEnd House, we know he's still stuck in it. How did that? Is there a heroin guy? Like, how did he?
The heroin guy doesn't exist. He
Maybe
doesn't
he does.
exist.
I think he does exist.
We don't know if they have contact. Like, if he's still stuck, how does he have contact
the
with someone
heroin
else?
guy was
Like,
literally like, dude, stop doing heroin. It's terrible. It's bad. And he was like, oh, F you, boy. I'm going to go do some heroin.
What
And he
if
got
what if
messed
like
up.
the house like forces you to like tell somebody else about it like later on, and that's
Like a
what I-
terrible chain email.
Yeah.
Maybe.
God damn.
Everyone's just speechless.
I know, that was really good. That's my favorite.
Because
one so
I
far.
thought it was gonna end, but then I realized the title of the name was NoEnd House. I was like,
It's still going.
Yes,
Damn
Dylan,
it.
It
thank
is
you.
still going.
We need like the X-Files theme to queue up after the
Without getting copyright, yeah.
This is one. Okay, so to me, this is one of those creepypasta stories that I would love to see turned into
A movie?
like a YouTube short film or short movie.
I could see
would
that.
love to see something like that because it's written well enough and it ups the ante, and it would be I really enjoyed the story. It was definitely my favorite so far that we've done. The fact that like it's just this mind fuck the whole time, and like you said it consistently escalates.
Yeah.
To me there was no
And it's not perfectly
one
written.
room that was like
It's not perfectly written at all.
this
That's
is
the
kind
one
of
thing.
okay.
If you notice, there's a lot of 4-word, 3-word sentences. That not a lot of not a lot of flow in the story. But it's just it's concept that I think every creepypasta should strive for. The fact that it just makes it's this oh shit feeling
And
every
it's
time,
simple, yeah.
and it doesn't stop. Even at the very end, you're like, oh god, this is the worst.
But he won his $500, so they.
Yeah,
that's
I
all
could-
that
like
matters.
now I
obviously
could
that
spend
started
it.
the laughing, which is really funny because he starts laughing and he's like, "All right."
Out of curiosity, what would you do if you went to your house and saw a 10? What do you
I'd
do with that?
fucking kill myself.
I'd shit
give
a
me a
brick.
knife.
Walk
Give
out
me a
in front
knife.
of traffic.
Give me there won't be any
Exactly.
traffic.
Does it let you kill you?
Yeah, there won't be any traffic.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe. Who the hell knows? Maybe he's already dead.
Wow.
Maybe that's what death feels like.
Yeah, well, he said he's in hell. I think that moment when he actually killed, like, he like cuts himself open and just starts falling, I think would be really cool.
Maybe it's the
moment to,
author's
see
way-
visually, like, and it's just
Because
black.
it's one of
Maybe
those
it's
things.
the author's way of telling you, if someone's offering you free money, don't do it.
I don't think that this.
I don't think that's the
fucking
point.
Ace Attorney. I think it's a scary
Anyone
story.
with the right mind is not gonna take any of that advice. I'm not even.
Here's the idea, though. This is what makes Room 9 the scariest to me. It's the fact that he's because this is how he describes it. He's standing above the guy. He has his knees pinned on the other David's chest. He takes the knife, he stabs him, and now he's just falling.
Yeah.
He's already
I love
like
that.
down. He
I think
stabs
that's an awesome
and he
transition.
falls.
It's just and you're gone. You're falling in
You're
blackness.
falling. It's in a way you're almost falling into yourself.
Right.
It's just so much. You
What
can
was-
take this so many different ways.
Right.
And that's like William was talking about how he's a drug addict, or maybe it's real, or maybe it's an hallucination. You don't know what it is.
The way I feel about this is a very well written story, very well paced. Everything's good about it. It escalates nicely. It's purely psychological horror from beginning to end, and I personally feel like psychological horror is a bit of a cop out at this point. And I mean that's like totally an opinion. It's totally an opinion. I'm not saying that psychological horror is wrong.
Yeah.
Just for me personally, I've seen and read so much psychological horror. It was so like in vogue in like the 2000s and stuff like that. That at this point,
Well, again, I have no idea when this was written. I know
I'm
this is a pretty
kind
old one.
I liked the first one we read, Normal Form for Normal People, was I slurred the hell out of that.
Yeah, right.
But everyone knows what it is. We've said it 80 times.
Yeah.
That was good.
The reference has got to stop, guys.
I'm looking,
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
looking through the comments.
Oh, God.
The top comments actually really dumb.
The thing about that first one was that was very grounded in reality. I like when horror, and I guess creepypasta by extension, because it's supposed to be horror, I like when there's something very tangible and real to it, like an edge of reality. And this story had no edge of reality at
You don't think so?
No. At
You don't
no
think this
moment,
could happen?
At no moment did anything feel real, remotely in the story.
But that's the thing.
But maybe
What-
it's an
what
hallucination.
is-
But
what
maybe
is
you're
real?
right. Maybe it's just an hallucination.
It's all
most
in your
of the time.
head, like you're saying. It's psychological. So
Exactly.
It's
If
horror.
I
Maybe no one
mean-
else can see it, but it terrifies you.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's my problem with psychological horror.
Wait, hold on. There's something underneath here. It's
like
Hideo
what's-
Kojima and Guillermo del Toro story. That's weird.
I like what someone.
It's not.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong
Let's not
with
get
the story.
baited right now.
It was really good. I didn't like it that much.
You were
Well,
you were scared
a
of it.
tough critic, man.
I know.
God
I'm
damn.
just like
Will really loved normal porn for normal
I did.
people.
That was
which
a
But he didn't like it
phenomenal
because it was
story.
stupid.
that was a phenomenal story. Did
Don't-
I call it stupid?
What
I
do
think
you
I
think?
did.
Yeah,
We started the trend.
Yeah, I know.
The whole, it was very tense the way it kept building up. But I feel like as it got to 8, I feel like it was just now you knew you weren't, and it wasn't gonna end. It's like, okay, we're just gonna go through the same fucking thing all over and over
Well,
again.
you don't know
It's-
what the horror is.
It's just more shit you're gonna add.
Like, what's scarier to you? An idea of somebody entering a room and saying, "There's a dead body in the living room," and then you go into the living room and there's the body. It's right there. Now, would it be more terrifying to say, someone enters your room and says, "There's a corpse in the bathroom." You enter the bathroom and the door's closed. You put your hand on the doorknob and you know what you're about to see,
Right.
but you have no idea you don't know what you're going to be looking at.
Right.
It's just it's the unknown that makes this scary.
Yes, exactly.
And this is why it's one of my favorites.
I'm-
It's just
this
it's
is-
what every creepypasta
Yeah,
should
but
honestly strive for.
But
So
once you know,
frustrating.
once he saw the 10, you know, by that point, it'd be like, oh, fuck it.
Well,
Let me open it, and open the next one, open the next one.
The story ended. I feel like the story ended at the perfect moment. Because
Which is
if
why
you-
what I was
if
saying
you
at the
were gonna-
beginning,
right.
and I no disrespect to Brian Russell, who did write NoEnd House 2 and then NoEnd House 3.
Mhm.
But I felt like sequels to this kind of ruin what the first one did.
Yeah,
I really do,
it does
and
too.
How
there
do you
is-
make a like?
There
It's
is
another-
two
it's
sequels.
It's another
And you
person.
can read them on your own if you want. I don't know if I
Or
will
it's
be
just
covering
Room
them on this
10.
podcast
Yeah.
or not.
Well, no. I feel like it ends at the appropriate moment because
Exactly.
it's like this. It's like the typical cliffhanger in a horror movie, but it's like where do you go
Where,
from
why,
there?
how?
Right, where do you go from there? How do you escalate that like any more than it possibly could? Like what could possibly be worse than seeing your fucking dead parents' heads and arms like looking at you walking towards you and then having forcing
It's a lot of your
to
greatest
kill
fears.
yourself, right? And
Yeah.
and falling into hell and then coming out
I
of it.
thought Room 8 was honestly the cleverest room because it's very hard to make anything past Room 6
It's
was clever.
it's
Because
fucked.
making anything
It's
better-
totally fucked.
Anything worse than Satan, pretty much,
Yeah.
is worse. And
Yeah.
it's hope and then taking away hope is from
that's-
7.
That's what I just remembered what it reminded me of.
What did I have?
Do you remember when we used to work together?
Yes.
And I gave you that ultimatum where it was like, you get $10 million, but you go down to hell for an hour, and you're in a room with Satan, and he gets to do whatever he wants to you.
But you live.
But you live, you come back, and you remember everything, but you get $10 million.
I didn't take that
Right,
offer.
that, yeah.
I did
Would
not.
you do that?
No.
No.
Never.
But
No.
you will, no. everybody automatically goes to like, I don't want the devil to rape me, and it's like it could be anything. Like
if the religions are real and there really is a
Right.
Satan, like he will do the worst possible shit,
Right.
and it's
Like
like
this.
unredeemable shit.
right.
But anyway, this has gone on for a long time, so I think this is it. Any final thoughts on NoEnd House, starting with Dan?
First one we've read so far.
You're an asshole, John. Are you serious?
Will,
You really didn't like
don't
it?
say John.
Sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
This is Will, and I stand by my message. Sorry, Dan. What do you want to say?
You really like this Weston Whimsy Woods?
Yes.
What the fuck, Will?
I just find
really enjoy this.
psychological
Dick you.
horror very. It's just there's a certain like easiness to just now he's.
I don't
he's
think writing this
upside
was
down.
easy. This was
I'm not
not
saying
easy.
no. This is very well written, and
It
not
is
many
very
people
well
can
written.
write this well.
Just doesn't like
But in terms of like creativity, it just I don't know.
It
It's not my thing. It's not my thing.
I kind of
Okay,
hear.
fine.
I understand that because like you see the classic horror tropes in the story. It's like okay, now we're
Right.
going to this. Now we're gonna go to this thing. Now we're going to this. Okay, we've seen this before.
Right.
What's new?
Right,
What's
but
fucking? What's new?
still,
At no moment did it ever feel like anything outside of this idiot's own head was hurting him. And
Yeah.
at a certain point, that story gets old for me because I've just
Yeah.
read it in so many different
That's
forms.
fair.
That's all.
To me, I really enjoy. I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. I really enjoy psychological horror because I feel like, just modern horror as a genre, especially in film, is just so fucking shitty now. It's just jump scares. So to have like a really psychological type
Psychological
of
horror is better than most horror
right,
films.
right,
Because it's
because
just
physical horror because it becomes basically
a jump scare can
gore
get anybody.
or right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how scary you are. A jump scare can honestly make
It's
you
not.
jump.
It's not
It's
one or
cheap.
the other. You don't have jump scares or psychological horror.
No,
There's a vast gulf of everything else.
what I'm saying is a lot of horror now. Like you see a horror movie and it's like
That's why I
Paranormal
prefer this
Activity or
over a
whatever,
horror
and it's all jump
movie.
scares.
Right.
It's like there's no
Nothing building
sense,
up to it.
Right, there's no sense of dread. There's no sense of whatever. It's just boo, boo,
It's
boo,
weird,
boo, boo, and
'cause
it's cheap
yeah.
and it lasts for a second. It's like stories like that are designed to like your girlfriend to grab you for like a second. Like that's it.
Which is always a good move.
Right. So it's like to me, psychological
Woman
horror
in
is the
Black.
best type of horror.
That was a good time.
Nate?
I thought it was fairly good. I think I enjoyed it more than Normal Porn for Normal People because it was really good, creepy build up. More because like Normal Porn for Normal People was really more just like it was like short stories that were right there, and it was obviously they're short for a reason because they just want to get to it. This one was more of a huge build up, and it was really
Much
good.
longer.
Yes, and it was
Okay.
worth it.
And
liked it.
absolutely I like the story a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't need to hear what Dylan thinks, so that was good.
I already said what I
Don't
thought,
worry, so
so
Yeah.
So,
beat you to it.
this has been the Scary Friends podcast. My name is John, aka the Skillflea.
Dan.
Will.
Nate.
Nimrod.
What?
A little more enthusiasm, guys. We're just on the Scary Friends
My
podcast.
name is David.
My name is David. Never enter the NoEnd House or it will kill you.
Boo.
Join us next time.
Boo.
Good night. Good night. Good night.